Welcome to Heart Talks. The purpose and intention for these talks is to inspire, empower, and to bring a higher perspective and community awareness with topics not only in real estate, but also in finance, relationships, wellness, and spirituality. So get ready and enjoy as we share our next episode on Heart Talk. Welcome to another episode of Heart Talks. Today, our guest speaker is going to share his story, and I'm excited to bring forward this guest speaker. Most of you in the industry know him. I'm excited to bring forward Javier Sanchez. Welcome, Javier.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know, you're not very easy to get a hold of. I have to share this with everybody, and this is very casual. I was telling Javier this is going to be a very casual talk. It was hard to get a hold of you, to get you to share your story.
I was trying to avoid to be here.
Yes, I felt that. I was like, I have a bone to pick with him, but here you are. And I understand, do you like to share your story? Do you like to share who you are?
Of course, I can go ahead and do that.
Wonderful.
I can be open. Why not?
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. And like I said, most of us know Javier and his group as one of the top leaders in our real estate industry. You've been in business for how long?
I'm going to like 21 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So today we're going to get to hear the real Javier, if that's okay with you.
Get ready, guys, okay?
Get ready. So Javier, I know I've known you. I've been in the industry probably as long as you have, and I've known you being one of the top producers, just consistently staying on top of your game. But I want to know more about your story, going back to your younger you when you were maybe growing up. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. How you
got started? How as far as you want to go?
Okay. Well, what I can tell is kind of like in my younger years, I was going back and forth. I was living right here in the United States, and then I was going back and forth to my hometown, which is Calexico, Mexicali. I'm from Mexicali, Mexico. And that's what I was doing. I went to school over here, and then I was, getting tired from here, and I was going back, with my mom, until like one day I decided to go ahead and stay here. I decided to stay because I wanted to go ahead and buy a car.
Okay.
So I was living in Mexicali, and I needed a new car, so I came over here for just for the summer.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just, little, start working overtime, and I was supposed to be going back to school.
Okay.
I wanted to go ahead and become a lawyer in Mexico. And then, but anyway, that never happened. Stay here, I met my wife, and then we ended up, getting married.
Beautiful.
I think I was too young, when that happened. Yeah, so that's what happened. I got married and I stayed the summer, and of course I got my first kid. And then from there I just keep working, and then until I used to work for this company for almost 17 years. Started working from the bottom all the way to I was kind of like a supervisor at one point, and then but it was too many hours. I was enjoying, and I made so much friends, with the company for the longest time. But then I don't think I was enjoying the time anymore. There was too many time, spending working a lot. And then one of my friends invited me to go ahead and get involved in real estate. Ernie Ochoa, he's only know about real estate. He's kind of like one of the old timers from real estate. I was his assistant for the longest time. And then from there, I decided to go ahead and get involved into real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were working with this mentor, I would call him his mentor, this friend that inspired you to get into real estate, how did you know that was going to be your path? How did you know, this is what I want to do?
You know what, when I was working in that company, I started from the bottom, like everyone else. So I moved on in every single position. And at one point, I was a supervisor from the warehouse, distribution. And then there was no way to make more money. So what I did, I applied for another position, which was a linen truck driver. So I was delivering like towels and aprons and tablecloths to restaurants. That's why I know a lot about restaurants. If you want to know about good restaurant in Pasadena, and in Malibu, and Newport, I can go ahead and I can go ahead and let you know which restaurant, because I still know a lot of people. I know a lot of chefs, a lot of managers from restaurants, and all those people, they move around. So I was connected. And some of those people, those are now my clients, for so many years. They buy houses from me and things like that. But, so anyways, going back to that, I changed from that position to like, let's call linen distribution truck driver. That's what you can go ahead and call it. It's kind of like driving like a big UPS truck.
Yes.
With like laundry in the back, like there's stuff in the back and clean stuff in the front.
Wow.
And then from there, in order for you to make more money, you had to make more sales.
Oh, I see.
So I was working.
So you're already in the sales business in that industry. Okay.
Little by little, I getting involved. Like I started getting more clients, more restaurants, doctors. I know a lot of doctors too. And then my clientele started growing so much. I started making so much money. But again, I was putting a lot of hours.
Right.
I was leaving my house at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting home about 8, 9 o'clock at night. That was consistency, like working every single day, sometimes overtime, and Saturdays, even Sundays too.
Wow.
And then when I started working with my friend, then I noticed the difference,
And how old were you around that time?
I think I started working in that company when I was probably 20.
20 years old.
Yeah,
okay. So in 20 years old, you were introduced to real estate.
No. When I started working in that company, I was in my 20s. And I started working in real estate, I was kind of like 31,
okay.
32.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was an assistant.
An assistant,
okay. Yeah.
And then from there, you started to just go your own way, or when did you decide to just start on your own?
Okay, what happened is I was doing that part-time. First I was an assistant, and after that I was kind of like, I decided to go ahead and get my license. And back then, Ernie Ochoa, he was also a broker. He was working for Benita, Jennifer's mom's.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Remax.
And he was working with Benita off of 13th Street in Foothill.
Okay.
She can remember because she wasn't around. She was probably like.
He's talking about Jennifer. Jennifer, yes.
Yeah, but anyways, I was, started working there. So Ernie decided to become a broker. He was already a broker. He decided to open his office in Fontana.
Okay.
And he named his office Ochoa and Associates. So then I moved with Ernie to Fontana. But then back then I was living in Montclair, so the driving from my house to Montclair to Fontana, that was too far. So then one day I was driving by, and I was right here on Mountain Avenue, and I noticed they were opening Rematch Champions right here on Mountain Avenue. And then I called Jennifer. I said, I need to see them and talk to you. So yeah.
Yes.
So I decided to go ahead and come in. We had, I had an interview. And then,
with Jennifer around that time.
Yeah.
And they were just opening up this Remax Champions.
Yes, and I remember
location.
That happened probably like in September, October. I can't remember the year, but
yeah.
You know what the year?
It was a little bad.
I'm off screen, but I'm going to talk.
She's going to talk. We have Jennifer in the house.
Jennifer in the house. I don't remember the year, but I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Beautiful.
Because he came in, at the time he was a newer agent, and he had his set of items that he wanted. And he came in with such confidence. And I remember sitting across the table from you, Javier, and you said, I'm Javier Sanchez, and I want an office, and I want this program, and I want this. And then I'm looking at him, and I thought, who is this guy? Like, he's so confident in his, ability,
right.
And like his ability to perform and do, whatever amount of sales. And then I was like, he sold me on. I was like, okay, whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, like I remember, like we had the meeting and then ended up setting up with right here with Remax, and then I was a solo agent, and back then I can name like some people that don't know this, but Danny Morale used to be over here. Danny Morale, he's
yes,
running
Danny
out of
Morale,
here.
yes.
The Badiolas, Indiana Badiola.
Badiola, yes, I know Manny.
Which is Manny Badiola's mom. They used to be over here too. Some of those
back
there. And then I remember when it started. Danny was starting too with his team. And then that was the first year I was solo, and then from there kind of I started like working more, putting more hours into real estate. But still, I was working at a linen company, and then I got to a point that not only that, I was coaching one of my kids. Two of my kids, I was shocked. I was coach for two of my kids. I was coaching Little League, basketball, and football.
Wow.
And then I was working at a linen company, and then I was working in real estate Saturday and Sundays. I used to drive.
That sounds like a schedule that most of us in real estate have, right? All the moms and dads right now.
Yeah, but having a full-time job and working overtime, plus real estate, plus the tourists, with the kids, and my schedule was already set up during the week.
That was dedication.
To make it happen. Yes. And I can go ahead and kind of like think about in that right now, and I don't know, it was so much. It was just the reason to be doing that every day.
Yes.
There's no way I can go ahead and do that anymore. But still, I was doing it.
You think back of, wow, look what I was doing and how amazing we're able to do certain things that we don't even realize, right? Until we
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that I continued to do that for like almost like a year and a half, working for a linen company, working real estate. And my numbers started like growing over here in Remax. So, and I was getting paid good over at a linen company, back then. And then it got me thinking one time that I got the 1099 from Remax, and I got the W-2 from the linen company.
That was your other regular job that you had.
Exactly.
So you were maintaining both, yes.
And again, they were paying me good with overtime and commissions and things like that. And I compared, and I was making more money with Remax.
Wow.
And then that was the hard part for me. Because I was in that company, I was secure. I would have vacation for week vacation. I was a teamster, and then it was hard to leave.
The secure job, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I was thinking for like almost a month, and I couldn't sleep. I was, I remember like walking to my computer, my home.
The security, yeah.
My computer, and I was looking at my computer. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was going back and forth, and I think I was getting super busy in real estate. But I didn't want to quit the cleaning job.
Yes.
And then one night I said, what's it going to take for me to go ahead and quit,
So what was that question? Say it louder. What was that question that you asked yourself? Because I believe this part is very important, and I think it's important for everybody to hear this, because it's not easy to give up your secure job, your W-2 job, to transition over to real estate. Yeah. But we all have to make that decision, and you had to make that decision. That was your turning point. What was the question you asked yourself at that point?
I was talking to myself, and I was saying this: what's it going to take for me to go ahead and quit the job?
What is it going to take for me to quit this job?
Yes,
That was the question.
That was my question for me, and kind of like, and I had that for almost like for like 2-3 weeks, thinking about it, And my kids depending on me, and back then my wife, and all the stuff, like the bills, and I say, what, like if I quit, something happen with real estate, what is going to happen, my position in this company. And then one day I say, what the heck, I want to go ahead and do it, it's time. So I remember it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning, you made that decision.
Yeah, and I went, I had a computer at home. And
hardware, big clunkers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I got my resignation letter.
Wow.
And then I went, the next morning, I wake up like really early in the morning, and I went to the company at 5:30 in the morning. And I remember the general manager used to get to that company about 5 o'clock, 5:30. So, and then I saw him, like walking into the building, and I approached him. You know what, can I talk to you? And he goes, yeah. So then he was like, hey, come on. And then, come over to my office. And I go, okay, we're sitting down. And he goes, you know what, go ahead. And I go, you know what, I got this for you.
Wow.
And then he opened the envelope, and he goes, you know what, I knew it.
So that's when you handed him the resignation of leaving your secure job to go into real estate.
Exactly. And this is the general manager, it's kind of like, he was running 2 companies at the same time. And then I appreciate it for him to go ahead and have the time to sit down with me. And he got so many employees. And he known me for so many years, and he told me right away, I knew it. It was good for you.
He felt it, huh? He felt it.
But by then, I had sold so many houses to people from that company, to all the employees and truck drivers, so everyone knew that wasn't real estate.
Yeah.
And then we checked hands and everything, and gave him like 2 weeks notice, and then I left. And then this a while back,
as you're sharing this with me, and I just want to bring this to your awareness and to everybody here that's watching this, as you're sharing that story with me, I saw you smiling, and I almost felt like a sense of relief for you, because it was a difficult decision for you to make. That was your turning point, where you decided to leave your secure job to get into real estate, because you came to the realization that you were making more money in real estate at that time. And I think we all come to that turning point in our lives where, when do we leave our secure job to go into real estate? Because it is scary. There's no security. You don't know if you're going to close that, tomorrow or the next month or what have you. But that was very courageous. But I also want to share with you, like, as you were sharing that experience with me, your face was glowing. You were just like, I could feel that sense of relief, like, yes, I did it, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to anybody that's watching this is looking to make that decision? Looking back now, because you're sharing this with me right now, looking back at your younger self when you were forced to make that decision, when you came to that realization, what would you say you would be most grateful for right here, right now? Like, looking back and saying, wow, I am so grateful for this person. I'm so grateful for the situation that happened to me. Because of that, I'm here and I'm in a better place.
You know what? Like, just to look back and listening to you with what we tell me right now, and remember all what I did.
Yes.
And then, yes, it was kind of like a relief, but you know what? It was a learning experience for me. Because again, I didn't start in that position, in the company. I started from the bottom all the way to the top.
Yes.
So that was another reason for me to go ahead and quit. Not because I was in a high position, but just because, I proved myself that I was able to go ahead and accomplish what I wanted,
To prove yourself.
Yes.
To prove to yourself, not anybody else, that you could do this.
Exactly. And then that was kind of like for me to decide to go ahead and quit. You know what, like, if I quit this job, now, after so many years, and making good money, medical benefits and everything, and retirement and being a teamster, you know what, like, I can go ahead and make it happen. That's what I faith and yeah, that's what I did.
A convention.
Yeah.
So there was no looking back.
There was no looking back, And again, I still got a lot of friends from that company. They come over here like once in a while, probably like a once or twice a month. I got clients.
Beautiful.
It happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me twice. Okay. One time, one of my clients from the linen company, that was a restaurant, New York Grill. That restaurant closed down. I think now it's called Heroes in Montero Mills.
Okay.
There was a steakhouse. And probably like 3 or 4 years after I quit the company, there was an award ceremony from Remax. Okay? And then I remember walking into a restaurant, so I knew the bad boys, the waiters, the chefs, the general manager from the restaurant.
Yes.
And I was saying hi to them, and they were saying, "What are you doing here?" Well, I came over here for the award ceremony.
Oh,
and I think I chills,
wow.
I remember when they called my name, I think it was, I don't know if it was Jennifer or Benita, they called my name for the award.
Yes.
I didn't get the Diamond Award that year, but I think I got, what's the other one? The chairman.
The chairman award. So you went back to that restaurant, but now to receive an award for real estate.
Because they did an event for Remax, Champions.
Yeah.
And I was in the restaurant, and when they called my name, all the cooks and chefs and waiters, they were
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, that was a very good experience. I go, dang, that's when I kind of like, I say, you know what, yeah.
What was that feeling? Just share with us.
It was good.
Yeah, you're lighting up right now.
Exactly.
So
I still remember. I still remember.
Yeah.
I never said that to Jennifer, but that would happen. That was one thing that happened. Second time around, then years go by. I got to the Diamond Award, and then Jennifer's business partner, Christian Fuentes, he did an event at Chiloin. Now I think they got a different name.
Yes.
So there was a big event, like 300 people, and then one of the speakers was Tom Ferry.
Tom Ferry. We all know Tom Ferry, right? Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry. Yep.
Yeah. So there was Tom Ferry, and then as a part of the conference or seminar, they invited me to be a speaker too.
Wow.
So they put like three or four chairs. I think if I remember, there was Leslie Wilson, was David Franco, There was somebody else and me too. We were sitting down.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal to be invited to be a speaker.
Yeah, there was. It was kind of like, and Jennifer knows, and people from the office. I'm kind of like, I'm not good at speaking in front of people. I was really nervous right there.
Yes.
But the same thing happened, The general manager from Shiloh was there, and also Tom Ferry asked me, how do you start in real estate?
Yes.
And I was telling him, everyone, well, you see the table linen right there in these tables, I used to deliver those table linens to this restaurant, and I know the general manager was in the back, and then we're talking, and then I go, and the same thing, people, when I was leaving, the general manager approached me, Javier, congratulations, But I didn't get that, I'm kind of like, I always kind of try to be humble, always humble no matter what.
That's a beautiful thing.
And then when the guy approached me and then got me, I said, you know what? This guy, the general manager not only from this restaurant and this hotel, he managed like 5 hotels in the area.
Wow.
And then he put his wallet, put a business card, and he goes, you know what? Next time when you're in Newport, give me a call. Let's go ahead and have dinner. Beautiful. And like 2 years later, they got bought a house from me. The general manager from that restaurant,
That's, as you're sharing this, and I think that's why, I'm so grateful that you're here with us sharing your story. That's so inspirational, not just to the real estate community, but to all the people that you had worked in the past. You're giving them that possibility that if you do put your heart and soul into everything that you do, that fire, because, it takes a certain fire inside of us, that you could make it happen. Because that was the question that you asked yourself, like, can I make this happen? Can I do this for myself? And here you go back years later to receive the Diamond Award, which for those of us that know, the Diamond Award is not very easy to get. Like, just for sharing here, how many times have you got the Diamond Award, if you could remember?
I would say like four times.
Four times. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, but it didn't happen right away. It's like, it did take a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And but also like I remember my rookie years right here in Remax. This realtor right here in the office, which is his name is Carol Rice. And back then, I remember like Carol Rice receiving the award. And back then, Jennifer and I used to do these award ceremonies, and they used to give you like a list of all the people like receiving awards.
Right.
And I was kind of like, I was making good money. I think I was in the, in the beginning, it was like in the 250s, I think, $250,000. It was not even without, but it was good. I was receiving an award. But then I was noticed like a Hero Rice White all the way to the top with $1 million. So then I still got a piece of paper in my office.
Wow.
So what I did, right after the ceremony, and they came back to the office, and then, so what I did, I crossed out like Hero Rice's name.
Wow. He doesn't know that, right?
No, he knows.
He knows. You shared that with him. Okay, he does now.
He knows because, I call him the godfather of real estate.
So you crossed out his name.
Yeah, I did, right across, and I put Javier Sanchez.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. So, that's amazing. I bet you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, so what I did, I put a piece of paper right in front of me, right by my computer, and was looking to that paper right there, and then I say, you know what, I'm gonna get it. The following year, I didn't get it the following year, and then it did take me 3 years, and I can name people, I remember we were going back and forth 1 year, and I talking she got me that year just for $100,000. This is Rachel Winisky. She used to own this building right here. See, people know about this building. She used to own this building right here. Nice lady, by the way. And then when she got the award, I didn't get it. But then she said, no, this is year 2 because we knew. Everyone knew we were I don't know Jennifer or Juanita can remember that, but it's kind of we're going back and forth. And I remember walking to the Ashley's office, okay, who's ahead? Winesky's ahead of you. Yeah. And I was passing Winesky, and I was working hard, saying, I need to get this. I didn't get it, but the cool part was Winesky, she knew that I was going after her, so she got it. She did good. And she goes, hey, this is you too, because I was doing the same thing, and we were both pushing each other right there,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then also Leticia Hickson too. I name those people because they're still around, you know, and same thing with Leticia, we were going
They're
back
doing-
and forth, you know, and we always kind of like, you know, no, I can close my transaction, no, I can do it, you know.
That friendly competition that keeps
Exactly,
you motivated.
in a
that
good way,
fire. Yeah, in a good way.
in a good
definitely,
way,
that's
you know.
important.
Being part of Rima champions, you know, and then like that's another thing. Like there's so many people that I know in real estate network, you know, relations. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
you
keeping
know.
that. It's a small industry, like we say. So I want to take it now to, because you're sharing all these beautiful things, but I know you're a marathon runner. So
Yeah.
let's talk about your daily practices. Like, do you meditate? Walk us through maybe like your daily practice, because I know mindset's a big thing for all of us, right? We have to prepare our mind, our body, everything. That is very important to be in our best place ever, so that we could vibrate in that energy, to have that fire to come forward to do what you're doing. So let's talk about that. Do you meditate?
I do meditate in the morning, things like early in the morning.
Okay.
That's the first thing I do in the morning. You know, like kind of like a little space for myself. You know, before
Yes.
anything else. Before I like start thinking about like real estate or the gym or running, you know, or anything. You know, that's my space right there. I would say for like 15, 20 minutes. You know, just to clear my mind, and then from there I listen like like a book, like audio book. You know, I listen to a lot of books. Or anything that can go ahead and inspire me, you know, to go ahead and start my day. And I usually like 100%. I would say like about 95% of the time I trying to start the day, you know, clearing everything out of my mind. Doesn't matter if
Emptying out the mind.
Yeah, doesn't matter if I had a bad day the day before. Doesn't matter if I closed like $1 million transaction or anything. You know, I start from scratch. You know, I don't get to start getting to my head. You know, good day, bad day, doesn't matter. I have to start from
Fresh,
zero,
from the bottom.
From the bottom. And yeah, I do meditate. That's what I do in the mornings, like the first thing, you know, and to be grateful, you know, like and appreciate what we have. I know, like people say, the more you make, the more you want, but you have to appreciate what you got, you know, in that precise moment right
That's
there.
so important.
You know,
Yes.
you know where you live, you know, you got food on the table, you know, you got a house, you know, your family, your health, you know, and all this stuff.
So
you know.
gratitude's a big part of your
Exactly,
your
because
meditation.
Yeah, because if you're not in good health, I mean, it makes no sense. You know, that's the thing. You know, and then if you're not in peace with yourself, you know, there's no way you can go and come to the office. You know, you're gonna be all like moody. You know, all
Moody
the
and
time.
stuff. And that's very important. You mentioned that if you're not at peace with yourself, then it's hard for us to even receive what's present for us in the day, any blessings, because like you said, we could come in a bad mood, or our mind is focused on something that's taking our energy or taking our day, right? Distractions, we call those distractions. And the discipline that you have, because I know as a marathon runner, you have to have that discipline. But let's talk a little bit about that discipline that has gotten you where you are right now. You know, obviously in our growing, right? Growing internally, growing physically, but like the discipline for yourself that you could share maybe with other realtors that are starting in the business. Like, what discipline would you recommend, or a practice that we could do as realtors, as human beings, as a matter of fact, to get to that place of what's possible for us?
Well, I want to go back to like I want to start running. Okay, so what happened with us, kind of like you guys already know, working in real estate. I mean, the habits that we create, and like the eating, you know, like going out at night time, you know, the drinking. I can say that. And got to a point one time that I went to the doctor. I couldn't sleep. You know, I was kind of like. One time, I remember one night I couldn't breathe at all. Like, you know, it was kind of like, and it happened like in a week, like, you know, like 3 or 4 times. And then I said, you know what, something's going on with me. So I went to the doctor, and then of course, you know, they put some blood and it test work and all this, you know, like all this stuff. Anyway,
Yes.
so the doctor, he goes like, he looked at me like, okay, I want you, kind of like he say like, I want to know what you do, like, what do you do for a living? Real estate.
Right.
Okay, let me know your routine. And I was telling him, this is what I do, you know, like I was telling like morning to night what I was doing.
Yes.
And he goes, you know what, like, you fine. You know, nothing's wrong with you. That sounds like a stress.
Stress.
Yeah. And then he was like, first of all, you need to go on vacation. That's what he told me.
Just get away.
Yeah. Second, you have to watch what you eat. you know. At that point, I was like, I was within, I think I went all the way up to like 183 pounds. That was a lot for me.
183 pounds at
Yeah.
that time when you were experiencing the stress.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I didn't care what I was eating all kinds of stuff. You know, I didn't care work, stress, and all that. If I can go ahead and go like that. So then you had to start exercising. You know, and I go, okay, I can do that. You know, he goes, watch what you eat. You know, yeah, I can go ahead and do that.
So you were feeling the stress in real estate and everything. You went to the doctor said you're feeling stress. And so that's what inspired you to change your lifestyle
Exactly.
and to get into to be a marathon
Yeah.
runner.
So
That's
when I
why
started, I didn't sign up for a marathon right away. I started running like just like the Padua Hills. Like I went from 1 mile to 2 miles, to 3 miles, 4 miles to like 8 miles. I started dropping weight, and then but then again, it's also right before the recession, and everything started like going down. You know, stress. People were losing properties, and there
Yes.
was more stress. So then I started running more, and now you know what I noticed is that the running started helping me a lot. You know, a lot of people that were having a hard time. We were having a hard time. You know,
Yes.
I can say
Yes.
everyone. You know,
Yes.
if
Well, most
somebody,
of the industry for sure.
yeah, exactly. So then back then, what I learned was kind of how to balance myself. You know, like got rid of all those bad habits. You know, and then then I started like exercising more and more. And one day I was somewhere like I think I was at my friend's office, and then he was in his computer and he goes, "Look, the LA Marathon's coming soon," and he goes, "Let's sign up." And I go, "Okay, let's do it." And then I did. He didn't. So I ended up doing the marathon for the first time. And then I remember I went through hell in the marathon. I was really, really bad.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You
We all
know,
know that if we ever tried to do that.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
was the first time I ran that marathon. It was Mile 20th, and then I remember I hit the wall. It's called when you hit the wall when you don't got no more energy, and then you got this bad demon saying, "What the hell you doing over here? The heat, you still got 6 miles to go.
Yeah.
You wanted to cry." And I say, but then I was there thinking about that, and I saw this lady with crunches like going
This is
she
important, guys. This is important what he's sharing right here.
yeah, she and I go, oh man. And
So
then
you hit the wall, but you see this lady coming with
crunches, yeah.
With crutches.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, oh, come on, dude. And then I saw this lady, she was kind of like heavy. The same way too, she passed me and I go, Javier, if they can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I finish and I say, never again I'm gonna go ahead and run a marathon. And,
Never again.
Never again. So that never again, no.
But be careful what we say, right?
Exactly.
Be careful.
The following year I
what we
signed
say.
up again for the marathon.
Yeah.
And then that was a while back, and little by little start getting more more running.
Yeah.
And again, there was a lot of stress in the industry for like 4 or 5 years, and really helped me to go ahead and balance myself. That besides family, I was going through a lot of personal problems, in the family, and I had to balance more. And then that's what I learned to go ahead and say no to a lot of things, and then concentrate and work, especially when I start having problems at home. I kind of I focus in work and my health.
Focus on work and health. And, I just kind of want to bring that forward. I want to just kind of stop here a little bit because you keep mentioning the word balance.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, especially right now in today's times, because we're also experiencing the stress after, COVID and everything that we're going through, and even now with the market. But what I just love about you, what you're sharing right now, is the focus on balancing yourself with health, with letting go of a lot of things that were no longer supporting you in your business, in your family, and in your health.
Yeah.
And those are great disciplines. And of course, as we show up for ourselves, we're able to show up for others and also in our business. And I feel that that's so important for you to share that right here in Heart to Heart Talks, because I think a lot of us forget that. And so you're reminding all of us that, yes, this is possible, but we also have to take care of ourselves, of our health, because without health, there's nothing, right? There's no life. So thank you for sharing that. And I know we're getting close to our time here, and we could sit here and share. And I love talking to you because you have so many beautiful things to share with a lot of us. You've been in the business, not only being in the business, but very successful year in, year out with so many, things that are happening in your life and growing your team and being a leader in our community. But what I do want to ask you is, and maybe the market right now, how we're doing, everybody talks about the market, like what is the vision that you see yourself for the Sanchez Group, like knowing what you know now, looking back, and then now being here today, what is your vision for yourself and for your group? For your team and
for my team,
yeah,
vision,
for your team.
You know what? Like as a team leader, and then I can tell you, like I had to show my team, that's possible.
Repeat that again.
That it's possible to make this happen.
To make things happen.
Exactly. It's been a rough market. The market's been changing. There's no doubt about it. It was hard from I will say from October to January, February. It was really hard. Going back to balance, one thing that I do every year, but this time kind of like I did it just a little longer. Was it the first of the year? I changed a lot of things around for 4 months.
This year, 2023, you changed a lot of things around.
The first of the year.
First of the year.
First of the year. I balanced myself again and to prove myself, that it's possible to make it happen. And I want to complain about the market because it's like if you got kids, you have to go ahead and show your kids that that you're strong, because they're going to be looking at you,
Absolutely.
And then you have to be able to go ahead and show them, that you can go ahead and and still continue to do what you like to do. And anyways, going back to that, that's what I did the first of the year. I got rid of some bad habits,
Getting rid of the bad habits, yes.
And I can say bad habit. I say kind of like I just balanced for like 4 months completely.
Really?
The health, like gym and work. And then one of the things I was doing is kind of like I started hitting the phones more, working more hours. Working more days. In the past, the market was really good, and I was taking 3 days off. I was taking like Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays off. I wasn't taking no appointments those days at all.
Yeah.
I
So
was
showing up more.
Yes.
Showing up more.
Those are my days to go ahead and play golf. It used to be my days to play golf and then to go to. I got a place in Baja, Mexico. I was going over there a lot. And I was able to go ahead and work from over there and things like that. But then I say, no, I had to stop completely. It's a different market now. I had to work.
You have to shift yourself with the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then so I changed from the first of the year, like my schedule, 9 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock at night. No lunch, going out. Because if you go out to have lunch, you're gonna go and spend like an hour and a half, And then I was starting like food to the office, and I was eating like my lunch like in 10 minutes, and going back to the phone. And then it's like everything. Like when you're hitting the phone, you can have good days and bad days.
Right.
For the longest time, for 2 months, I was having bad days on the phones. Really, really bad. And then nothing. And then, but then I had this picture of my daughter on my desk. And then she graduated from college, by the way, and her goal is to go to law school, and she's going to be going to law school. And of course, she needs my support. Yes. So I got a picture of my daughter, and also got like a school where she wants to go ahead and go, and I had it right there on my desk. At the bottom of my bottom of my screen, I got copies of checks, that just copies that I got those deals in the past. I don't want to say no numbers, but it's pretty good checks.
Right.
That I was able to go ahead and make phone calls and make it happen. I was able to go ahead and close deals. Deals like just talking to people, good deals, because I do a lot of flipping and wholesaling too.
Yes.
And then that remind me, that I can go ahead and pick up the phone and call the person and the assistant to make this happen, to be able to go ahead and help my family.
Wow. So
You know.
this is how you vision yourself. I mean, that's amazing. You have copies of checks. You have a picture of your daughter, knowing what your destination is, or actually the path that you
Yeah.
need to take through these checks.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
but between all that, again, it was balance. It was
Balance,
balance.
yeah.
It was to say no to a lot of things
Things that were
because
not supporting you. Yeah.
because again, I was talking to one of my closest friends, Mike Berrios and Jorge Melos, and then as a realtors, brokers, lenders, we get a lot of distractions. You know.
Yes, we do.
You know.
Yes, we do.
You know, we get a lot of. I mean, if you don't manage your time, I mean, you can waste your time around. You know.
Yes.
And with all my respect, you know. So, I mean, I was concentrated for those 4 months, again, to prove to myself that it's possible. And yeah, those 2 months I wasn't getting nothing, you know, there was no wholesaling deals coming in, you know, there was no flipping coming in.
Right.
I was my pipe started, you know, getting
Going
small,
down.
small.
Yes, you're watching it go down.
And I had my agents complaining about the market, you
Yes.
know, some of the agents saying, no, we're going to be leaving because it's nothing to do right here in the office, you know,
Yes.
but I had to show them, you know, that was possible.
Yes.
Yeah, but the term on, after making so many calls, you know, then I started, you know, opening escrows, you know, wholesaling.
Slowly it was coming because of
Yeah.
that discipline and that balance. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And once again, we would love to bring you back again because I know, you know, you have so much experience and so much to share with us, with me, with the community and everybody in real estate. So many people want to hear you because you're one of the top leaders here in our community. So once again, thank you for sharing your story, being here with us, saying yes, even though I had to chase you.
No, thanks for inviting me. And you know, it's kind of it was kind of hard to you know, time the timing, you know, and then I got Jennifer telling me, you know, you gotta do it, you know.
Yes.
Actually, to be honest, I don't like to be too much out there doing this.
Yes.
And I think I refused 2 invitations from 2 different brokers, you know. I only did one with my friend Berrios and Jorge Merlos, but I mean,
And with me now. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for saying yes to me. And I feel maybe we can encourage you to share more because once again, you have a lot to share. And those of us that do take the time to listen to this episode is going to get a lot of value, a lot of insights. And just, you know, you're a great mentor in our community and my respect and humbleness to you.
Thank you. Thanks
so
for inviting me.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.